Several times I have taken the time to show Harbor Freight lights in the workshop, over my workbench, in the basement, and even for recording videos. I think some of the lighting is fantastic for it. When you get the right ones, it's perfect for daylight recording. In fact, I'm using two right now. But I think it's important to realize there is one way that we can use some Harbor Freight lights in ways that I haven't talked about. This deserves a good talk about.
Hello anyone, I'm Scott Bain. They call me the old farmer. I don't actually know how many lights I have replaced or added since we moved here. I can say most of them have been from Harbor Freight. Many of my portable lights are also from Harbor Freight. I talk about Harbor Freight lights because they work and last a long time, whereas a few of the name brand lights have failed in only a couple of years and then were replaced with a Harbor Freight light at a fraction of the cost. Most of the work areas have work lights in the 5,000 to 5,600 Kelvin color range. Sunlight is at about 5,600 Kelvin down to about 5,000 Kelvin and even lower on cloudy days and sunsets as well as sunrises. But in fact, unless the sun is over 2 hours from the horizon, there is a large color range in sunlight. But after those 2 hours away from the horizon, and it's a clear day, 5,000 to 5,600 Kelvin in the color temperature of the sun, which is considered a white light to humans and many plants and animals, is the norm for daylight. You know I use Harbor Freight lights in photography, as I have mentioned previously. If I need a different color temperature, I can put colored cellophane in front of the light or color adjust in post-production. Sometimes I will add a 4,200 Kelvin work light to the mix to add a bit of flavor to the lighting. I can easily mix how much I want to add by adjusting the distance. A light that has a specific distance, say 1 foot, is moved to 2 feet, doubling the distance from the object, reduces the amount of light to 1/4 the amount. Double the distance again and you have 1/8 the light. It's called the inverse square law. I'll leave it to you to look up the formula. And it's fun to teach this effect to kids. But Mrs. Old Farmer Marty and I have purchased 3 of the 10,000 lumen 5,000 Kelvin 4-foot workbench lights for a new purpose. We use them as grow lights. They are full spectrum lights, maybe not to scientific requirements, but close enough for the human eye and for starting plants. Granted, we have the seedling sitting in front of a large picture window, but in past years, it just wasn't enough light to get healthy seedlings. This year, when the lights were on sale, we bought 3 lights, and they have surprised us with how the seedlings have responded. As you can see, there is still 1 pot of seedlings that have not sprouted. We know that. It just takes a long time to sprout these particular seedlings. Believe it or not, some seedlings do take months to sprout. Those most often are purchased as plants from a greenhouse when it's time to do the garden planting. In mid-Michigan, that's in the greater Lansing area, even down to Detroit and St. Joseph, the planting time traditionally has been on Memorial Day weekend, even though we could plant a bit earlier. Now, don't let this confuse you with Central Michigan, which is further north and is centered around Mount Pleasant, Big Rapids, and Midland, Michigan, about 80 miles north of mid-Michigan. If they plant on Memorial Day weekend, they may be pushing it a bit. But if you are prepared to cover your plants on the danger of frost, Memorial Day weekend should still work. As you can see, the lighting makes a difference. We are using a timer and started the seedlings off with 18 hours of lighting and then reduced it by 2 hours. Just by looking at the plants, you can tell they are happy.
Happy, happy, happy.
I have always liked these lights, and the only negative I could say about these lights is when unpacking them, they seem a bit flimsy. But if mounting them with a bit of care, this shouldn't be a problem. I recommend these lights for all work areas where bright light is needed. Don't go with a lower level in color temperature in work areas. Yes, go with something like a 2400 to 3200 Kelvin light in family areas and in bedrooms. But if it's the workshop, above a work table, and even in the laundry area, these are just a few places where these lights belong.
Thank you for watching. And please be safe.
We'd sure appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a comment. You know how YouTube behaves. They won't believe you watched a video unless you leave a comment. Also, it would help if you ring the bell and do a thumbs up. As you know, if I find a good channel, I pass it on to you. So if you think it's appropriate, it would sure help if you passed us on to your closest 10,000 friends and family. But above all, give a helping hand to someone today. It's the best gift to give. It'll make you feel good too.
Don't forget to click like, subscribe, share, or ring the bell buttons on the Original Old Farmer channel. We enjoy reading the comments that you leave, and they do help the channel, so keep them coming. And once again, thank you for watching The Original Old Farmer.
The VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.